Nehemiah, as we all know, he was a cupbearer, right? His job was to serve the king with wine or whatever drinks the king liked. That was his job. That was Nehemiah's job. And one day it so happened that, verse number 2, that Hanani, one of my brethren, came with men from Judah, and I asked them concerning the Jews who had escaped, who had survived the captivity, and concerning Jerusalem. For those of you who don't know, Nehemiah was not staying in Jerusalem. Okay, he was staying in another land. He was not staying in Israel. He was staying in another land. But he was a Jewish man who loved God. And probably he was taken captive, but he was serving a Gentile king in another place. So what happens is, he's saying two or three of his brothers came from Israel. And when they came, he asked them, how is my land? How is everyone doing? And they gave him this report. They said the survivor. So before that, the nation of Israel was attacked by the enemy. And the enemy king burnt all the walls. The gates, the walls were broken down, the gates were burnt, and there was a few survivors who were living there. Some of them were taken captive. So Israel was in a bad shape. Jerusalem, okay, it was in a bad shape. So when these people came to Nehemiah and he's asking them, how is everything? And these guys, they gave him a report saying, everybody is in trouble. The wall of Jerusalem is broken down and the gates are burnt. And the people are in distress. It was a very, very sad state. Because when the walls are down, that means it's like you are living in your house. Now imagine if somebody comes and burns the door, the main door of your house. And he burns the exterior walls, breaks the walls. Now you are sitting inside with all your possessions, all your belongings. Are you safe? You're not safe because it's open now. Anybody can come in and, take advantage of you, take things from you. So that is the state of Jerusalem. And Nehemiah, it says, when I heard these words, I sat down and I wept. I'm going to come back to this verse again, okay? And mourned for many days. I was fasting and praying before God of heaven. So what is happening in Jerusalem, when Nehemiah came to know, he wept before the Lord. And he makes this long prayer, okay, where he's telling God, God, you are a faithful God. And forgive my fathers, forgive me, because we have not been faithful. Right? We have broken your command. What was God's command? See, both my father's house and I have sinned. We have acted very corruptly against you and have not kept the commands that you gave. Okay? And what did God tell Moses? What did God command the people of Israel? If you are unfaithful, I will scatter you among the nations. But if you return to me and keep my commands and do them, though some of you were cast out to the farthest part of the heavens, yet I will gather you together. I like it. God is saying, if you don't obey my commands, this is what is going to happen. The enemy is coming and the enemy will scatter you, the enemy will destroy you. But when you turn on your ways, when you take a U-turn and you return back to me, even if you are in the farthest part of heaven, look at the words that God uses. Kahan pe bhi, farthest, he's not even saying earth. Heaven may be up ho, I will bring you together because I am a faithful God. In other words, You know what Nehemiah is saying? Daddy, Father, you gave us a blueprint. This was God's blueprint given to them for success, right? This is the blueprint. What is the blueprint? It's detail, it's instructions. And this is the blueprint that God gave to the children of Israel. He told them, do this and you will be super successful. But these guys, they tore that blueprint and they lived according to how they wanted. And because of which now they are in this state. So Nehemiah essentially is talking to God and saying, give me a new blueprint. He weeps and he says, we have not honored the blueprint that you gave. Now give me a new blueprint. And how many of you know, and I'm sure every one of you knows, that Nehemiah was a great leader, okay? And he is the one who built the walls of Jerusalem, and he did it in how many days? 52 days. It's crazy. You can't even imagine. You know, somebody gave us a 500-piece puzzle. And it has been days, we are still working on it. We can't get it. Because the puzzle is exactly like this shirt, all black and white pieces like this. So it's so confusing. So many days have passed, little time we try and go and fix the puzzle. We celebrate every one piece that we put. And here I am thinking that we can't even solve a puzzle. And this guy, he leads the people in such a way that they make an entire wall in 52 days. Okay? So that means, now what happens? After he prays, he goes to the king. Okay? Look at verse number 11. It says, "O Lord, I pray, please let your ear be attentive to the prayer of your servant and to the prayer of your servants who desire to fear your name. And let your servant prosper this day. I pray, and grant him mercy in the sight of this man." Which man is this? The king. Okay, so Nehemiah is telling God, today is the day. Today I'm going to the king, okay, and grant me mercy. Give me success. When I go to the king and ask him of something, prosper me, give me mercy in the sight of this man. In other words, okay, now you got to answer me. Does this mean that Nehemiah already has the plan? Or he's going to ask the king and then, decide how the walls are going to come up? You can write in the chat box. He has the plan. Sounds like, okay, it went up. He has the plan. He has the plan. This man already has received the blueprint on how to build the wall. And now he's going to the king, and look at his language. He's saying, grant me success. When you want leave from work, you already have a plan, right? When you approach your boss, I want leave for, you know the number of days, 5 days. Why? Because I'm not going to be well. Aisa? Nahi, because I am traveling, right? You already know, these days I'm traveling, 5 days leave I want. And now you are praying that God, when I ask my boss for leave, let him okay it. Similarly, Nehemiah, that means when he was praying, he already got the blueprint of how to build the wall. Exact blueprint. And he even knew the number of days, because if you read further, and the king asked him, what is wrong with you, Nehemiah? He's telling the king, please send me to Judah so that I can rebuild the wall. He already has the blueprint. He's not praying for one. He already has received the download. And you know what? The king is asking him the question which all your bosses will ask you. How long will your journey be? When will you return? Kab tak leave chahiye? And there is this 3-4 words there. It says, and I set him a time. That means Nehemiah gave him a time. Okay? That means the blueprint was so precise in his head that when it was absolutely impossible to build a wall in 52 days. But the download was so precise that he knew, he set the time, he knew in how much time it's going to get done. If you look at verse number 12, it says, I told no one what God had put in my heart to do. So God had already dropped the blueprint. And because he already knew the plan and every detail of the plan, when God gives you a blueprint, this is what I want to tell you, he gives you the grace. That grace comes to you. If God is giving you a blueprint and telling you that in this area you're going to be a success, no matter how impossible it seems to you right now, but as long as you know that that blueprint is a download from heaven, it already is carrying that grace. So when Nehemiah left from the king's presence, the king not only gave him permission to go and work according to his set time, the king also provided him timber to build the gates. The king also gave him letters and he gave him security so that nobody is attacking Nehemiah on the way as he's traveling back to his land. So that's your God. God doesn't want you to function in fear, in doubt. When you receive a blueprint from God, the resources will come. You don't have to worry. You don't have to fear because it has the grace to make sure that everything is done according to the plan. All you need to do is to walk. All you need to do is to obey instructions. Hallelujah. This is amazing. In 52 days, the wall was done. He would have never even dreamt about it. But here is this one thing that I want to bring your attention to. Nehemiah was a cupbearer, okay? And he would have lived his life as a cupbearer. Till the moment he met the Lord, he would have lived as a cupbearer. And I'm sure he would have been the best cupbearer. He would have got the best cupbearer's award also from the king. But that was not his destiny. Until a time came where blueprint was imparted to him. And then is when you begin to see that he began to move in the function and in the capacity of a great leader. And because he got access to that blueprint, there is a book in this Bible which says Nehemiah. Otherwise, he would have died as a cupbearer. He would have been busy making prayers that, oh God, please help me. Today, king has to be in a good mood. Or teach me the best recipe, which is the best grapes I should be picking. Are you getting what I'm trying to say? But the moment he asked the right thing, when he asked for a blueprint, his entire destiny changed. So I don't know what prayers you are making, but I want to stir you up. I want to put this fire in your heart and to remind you that you are called for much greater things. You are called for nations. If your Papa Abraham was called for nations, so are you called for nations in your own capacity. In everything, look at the gift that you have. Look at what God has given to you. And seek the Lord for a blueprint.